Class 9, let's continue the chapter number 9, the Delhi Sultanate. In the previous videos we talked about, in the previous classes we talked about the Khilji dynasty, the slave dynasty, and now in today's video we are going to start the Tughlaq dynasty. Very important, right, and very interesting also. So let's start today's class. Muhammad Tughlaq. Muhammad Tughlaq was a man of considerable ability and only sultan to have received good education. So Muhammad Tughlaq, he was very able as well as the only sultan who was educated. He was a person with innovative ideas. Obviously, he was educated, that he have got innovative ideas, right? Which however led him to ruin. But because of his innovative ideas, he was educated, he had innovative ideas, and that made him to ruin. Taxation in Doha. He wanted to raise the revenues by 5 to 10% by increasing the land tax and a few other taxes. So he levied taxes on land and other materials, other commodities. In 1326, he increased the taxation in Doab. So what is Doab? It's a territory area between two rivers. So here Doab, it's an area between Ganga and Yamuna. Unfortunately, at this very time, there occurred a severe famine, drought, because of failure of rains. So the people offered resistance, but the Sultan's officers continued to realize taxes mercilessly, right? So he raised the taxes, and unfortunately that time there was a severe famine, drought. That is why people, the farmers were not able to pay the taxes, but the Sultan's officer continued to realize taxes mercilessly. The cultivators were therefore forced to abandon their lands, to leave their lands. The Sultan tried to help the cultivators by giving them loans to buy seeds, but the sultans, on the other hand, tried to give loans to buy seeds and the bullock carts, bullocks, etc. Arrangements were also made for the digging for wells for irrigation purposes, but the scheme was failure. The grant of loans came late. Since people had nothing to eat, they utilized the loans to meet their basic needs. As a result, even the usual revenue, means regular revenue, could not be realized from Dua. So this was a serious setback at the time of Muhammad Tughlaq's reign, or Muhammad Tughlaq's time, right? Okay. Transfer of capital. In 1327, he decided to transfer his capital from Delhi to Devgiri, that is Daulatabad, with a view to having the capital situated in the middle of his kingdom. Moreover, Delhi was continuously threatened by Mongol raids. So Mongols, they were continuously raiding. Raiding means attacking, right? So the Sultan wanted the capital town to be at the safer distance from the invader. That is why what he thought, he decided to transfer his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad. He was bent upon taking all the inhabitants of Delhi, that means all the people of Delhi, to a new capital, Daulatabad. No one liked the forced move. No one liked the shifting of inhabitant of Delhi to new capital, that is Daulatabad. In fact, Daulatabad was more than 1500 kilometers away from Delhi. The people suffered greatly from fatigue, hardship and mental torture, because the distance was very much. So that is why the people suffered greatly from fatigue. So fatigue means tiredness, right? So people greatly suffer from fatigue, hardship, and they got the mental torture also because the distance was too much. The scheme was a complete failure. As soon as the Sultan was convinced of failure of his scheme, he ordered the people to return to their homes in Delhi. Again, after when he was convinced the failure of his scheme, now after that he ordered the people to return back to their homes, that is in Delhi. So these two schemes, transfer of capital from Delhi to Daulatabad and taxation in Doab, these two schemes were really made this this two schemes or the innovative ideas led him to ruin. Muhammad Tughlaq led Muhammad Tughlaq to ruin. Another policy, that was token currency. In 1329, the Sultan introduced token currency by proclaiming that brass and copper coins could have the same use or function as that of gold and silver coins. So this experiment was also failed. Soon the gold and silver coins disappeared from the market and forged copper coins manufactured by people at their homes came into circulation. Trade and business came to a standstill. Standstill means it came to an end. So the trade and business came to stop, right? Because the gold and silver coins disappeared and the copy of this copper coins, the people started manufacturing this forged copper coins at their homes. That came into the circulation also. So the policy of introducing token currency was also failed. All these failures affected the prestige of the sovereign and led to the spread of discontent. Discontent means unhappiness. So it fomented repeated rebellions in many parts of the kingdom. Obviously, if the policies got failed, the people rebelled against the government, against the monarch. So in many parts of the kingdoms, the rebellion started revolting, and this Muhammad Tughlaq died while fighting rebellion in Sindh in 1351. Clear? Okay. Now next is later Tughlaqs. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, a cousin of Muhammad Tughlaq, became the next sultan. He faced a difficult situation because the empire had already started breaking up during Muhammad Tughlaq's regime. Firoz, though a distinguished military leader, made no serious attempt to recover the lost territories. But he was a great builder of gardens, schools, mosques, and irrigation canals. As a result, agriculture and trade flourished, and there was an increase in the general prosperity of the people. And later he died in 1388. Okay, from this paragraph we come to know that Firoz Shah Tughlaq took or ascended throne after the death of Muhammad Tughlaq. And at that time he had to face many difficulties. Like a difficult situation was there all over the empire, because at that time the Tughlaq dynasty, like that whole empire had already started breaking up into smaller kingdoms. So but Firoz Shah, he did not pay attention in the consolidating his empire, but he made he was a great builder of garden, schools, mosques. And what he did, he did focus on the irrigation schemes. So he made irrigation canals, schools, gardens, mosques, etc. So as a result, agriculture and trade flourished, and there was an increase in general prosperity of people. But later he died in 1388. Now just see the coins minted at the time of Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah had left no strong successor. So after Firoz Shah, there was no one to consolidate the Tughlaq dynasty. The Sultanate of Delhi, which had shrunk to a size of a small principality, began to disintegrate. Disintegrate means to break up. Provincial governors and the other ambitious chiefs everywhere hoisted the flag of revolt. Timur, the Lame, invaded Delhi in 1398. His victory was complete. Timur had no desire to stay in India, but his invasion completed the dissolution of the Tughlaq kingdom, which somehow managed to linger on till 1413. So we can say the Tughlaq dynasty that came to an end at the in 1413 AD, right? And that was because of the invasion of Timur. Now next is later dynasties. Let's talk about the later dynasties. Okay, let's talk about the later dynasties after the Tughlaq dynasty. So Timur had entrusted the governance of Multan, Lahore and Dipalpur to his deputy, that is Khijr Khan, who became the ruler of Delhi in 1414. So that means Timur had handed over the governance of Multan, Lahore and Dipalpur to his deputy, that was Khijr Khan, who became the ruler of Delhi in 1414. He laid the foundation of Sayyid dynasty, which ruled from 1414 to 1451. Behlol Lodi, an Afghan governor of Lahore and Sirhind, seized Delhi in 1451. He died in 1489. He was succeeded by his son Sikandar Lodi. So after the Sayyid dynasty, Lodi dynasty came into throne, right? Now, he is said to be the greatest of Lodi king. He suppressed rebellious chiefs and moved the capital from Delhi to Agra in order to keep closer control over the eastern provinces. So Sikandar Lodi was considered as the greatest among the Lodi kings. He suppressed the rebellious chief and moved the capital from Delhi to Agra to have a close contact or to keep closer control over the eastern surrounding provinces. After Sikandar's death, his eldest son Ibrahim became the ruler. Ibrahim Lodi became the ruler in 1517. Unlike his father, he could not keep the Afghan and Turkish nobles in good humor. He could not recover from the crushing defeat at the hands of Rana Sanga of Mewar. He alienated the governor of Punjab, Daulat Khan Lodi, who invited Babur, the ruler of Kabul, to invade India and overthrow Ibrahim. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi at the famous Battle of Panipat in 1526 and laid the foundation of Mughal Empire in India. So the last ruler, Lodi ruler, was Ibrahim Lodi. He was defeated by whom? Ibrahim Lodi was defeated by Babur in the Battle of Panipat in 1526, and that was the time the time that laid the foundation of Mughal dynasty or Mughal Empire in India. Right? Okay. So that's all for the day, children. We'll continue the same chapter in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.